I would get a little rattle in my chest when I would breathe, almost like you're congested or have a cold, but I knew I wasn't sick. They did an x-ray. There was something on the x-ray that looked to them to be like pneumonia. As a non-smoker, no family history, not knowing that lung cancer is not just a smoker disease, and being such a young age, no one seemed alarmed by it. I went about a year to a year and a half before I went back to address it again. I was upstairs with my wife, and I got the phone call, put it on speaker. He just said, Roy, I'm sorry, I've got some bad news. He goes, it did come back, adenocarcinoma with mucinous features, so it is lung cancer. I tried to live a somewhat healthy lifestyle. I was active duty Air Force at the time. Did a full career in the Air Force, 21 and a half years, retired from the Air Force. And then I say that I failed at retirement because my wife put me back to work. Parlayed my Air Force job into my commercial airline job that I do now. And so I was just busy flying, running, traveling, and those sorts of things. So my first symptom that I remember would be when I would lay prone in the bed at night. Maybe I had just run a 5K that day. Maybe I did a workout on the stationary bike. But in the evenings, I'd have this little rattle, and that would be the only thing I thought was strange. I never had any symptoms other than once in a while that little rattle at night, laying prone. I was at an annual checkup, and I wanted to mention this again, and they did another x-ray, and then it looked bigger from the previous x-ray. So then they wanted to do a CT scan. Once they did the CT scan and they saw what the images produced, and then there were 2 satellite nodules in there that they didn't see on the x-ray, everyone seemed to be very alarmed at that point, and then things started happening rapidly as far as getting me in for a bronchoscopy. They put you under, you're sedated, and then it goes all the way down into the lung, and they have a computer screen with a little map of where they're going to go and how they're going to get there. They get down there, they grab the tissue, they pull it up, and then you wake up and you go home and you wait while it gets tested. And I actually did receive a phone call from my pulmonologist with not good news, devastating news, because when you receive that initial diagnosis, at least for me, I had no background knowledge of lung cancer. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know if it meant that my birthday coming up in a few days is going to be my last birthday that I celebrate, or, if I even get to celebrate, or if I make it 6 months. There's so many unknowns at that point. And so I'm just looking at my wife, and she just immediately hugs me. And I'm kind of speechless for a moment, not sure what to say, because it's just something you're not expecting. And so it was a day that changed my life forever. There was further testing. That's the other unknown when you get that. It's like, how far advanced am I? What type of mutation do I have? There's just so many unknowns at the time when you get that initial word that you are positive for lung cancer. Got scheduled right away for a PET scan. Luckily for me, it was residing in my right lower lobe. And it was growing, and there were 2 satellite nodules. Just remember, as the process continued forward, my oncologist told me I had the KRAS G12D mutation. My lobectomy was performed via VATS, the video assisted thoracic surgery with the robot arms. Very thankful that we had that technology available, the Da Vinci robot. That helped me recover a lot faster. Very fortunate again that my margins were good after they took the lung out and tested everything. And so I did 4 rounds of chemotherapy with a drug called Cisplatin. And there was an additional drug that pairs with it. It's a brutal chemotherapy drug that's been around, I think, since the 70s. It's been around a very long time. It goes in like a wrecking ball. It's not, targeted therapy at all. It just doesn't know which cells it's attacking, but it's cumulative. The first one didn't seem too bad. Second round got a little bit worse. Third round got a little bit worse. And then by the 4th round, I'm glad it was only 4th rounds. I'm not even sure I could do a 5th. With me coming off the chemo, within like a month, my oncologist says, hey, this thing has just been FDA approved, and I want to start you on it. I recommend you doing it. I was kind of gearing back to get my life going back, how it was before. And then knowing it was going to be another year, I chatted with my wife, and I said, at the end, if I don't do this immunotherapy drug and my cancer comes back, I will question myself, did I make the right decision, and why would I not do everything in my power at the time to make sure that I did every drug available to me to help make sure that my cancer stays in remission. So it's supposed to be 12 months of treatment. I think I made it about 8 months before I had to come off the drug due to some autoimmune responses that I had. It dried up my salivary glands. It was like you're at the dental office with the cotton balls in your mouth. And I didn't realize how much we need saliva in our mouths. I mean, I had to even get special toothpaste because everything burned my mouth. I didn't have any saliva. And it gave me vitiligo. I'm kind of a goal-oriented guy, so I'm like, hey, this is supposed to be for 12 months, and I got to get those 12 months in. And I really wanted to complete the full course of treatment. I think with the vitiligo, if it was only the vitiligo, I would have stayed on it. But when my oncologist was recommending coming off at that point because the autoimmune responses were getting stronger, we grow up being taught that lung cancer is a smoker's disease, because I felt the need to always say I had lung cancer as a non-smoker. You know, I'd always throw in the non-smoker. I always felt like it was a stigma associated with it, or that I was being judged for having lung cancer. It's not just a smoker's disease, and I'm learning that. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you're invincible, right? You're usually healthy. You haven't had anything go wrong. So when you do have something, you're just like, oh, I'll just blow that off. As we age, we're all going to have something that goes wrong in our body. That's the natural part of aging. You have something that's going to go wrong, and you have to listen to your body. Again, bad news in the medical community doesn't get better with time. So you have to go face it and make those appointments, even if it's not convenient for you. So if I'm being completely honest with myself and thinking back through all of this over the last 5 years, I'm trying to say now, which sounds a bit crazy, is that lung cancer probably saved my life. Having the lung cancer with all the CT scans of my chest, it did find something that was ancillary, which was coronary artery disease, which does run in my family. It's all mild, unobstructive. You might not have symptoms until you actually have a heart attack. Maybe you're in your mid to late 60s. Maybe you're in your early 70s. But we hear all the time of people just falling over in their chair or walking up a flight of steps and collapsing and having a heart attack. Well, that has been, I don't have to worry about that now because we're monitoring mine. Yeah, I'm like a little kid around airplanes. I always have been since I was age 13. So it was really, really great to get back to my professional job, being cancer-free, being back stronger and better than I was. Life can be bigger and better than it was even before. You just have to keep, I'm using the motto of showing up, and that's what I've tried to do through my treatment over the last 5 years, is to just keep showing up every day, where I went from 5-minute walks to turning those into just finishing my 5th marathon at the Boston Marathon this year.
Lung cancer didn't stop me. Let's go.
Cancer didn't get the last word for me, gratitude did. So if you come at it from that angle, let gratitude win, and you'll be better for your experiences in life, and it can be a new beginning.